This is Groove Talk with FrogE Style.
Welcome to another episode of Groove Talk, everybody. On this episode, I'm joined by Kiefer, Adrian, Kyle, and Brady, and they are all part of the band Our Last Crusade.
How's it going, man?
Yo, what's
Thanks
up?
for having us.
If I could be happy, I'd be happy to be here, yeah.
Awesome. So just to start, why don't we give us a little background information on Our Last Crusade?
Wow, we're starting off hard.
If we're gonna start from the beginning,
prepare for this, man. Yeah.
If we're gonna start from the beginning, it's probably best for Brady to
Oh,
take
look at
us
this
off
guy. He's
here.
got notes.
Yeah.
Let me just basically just a bunch of high school buddies, and we got together. We all never really jammed together, but we all kind of known each other through other bands or parties back in the day, and just eventually everyone's other projects hit a crossroad and started to get this band going, and that was a long time ago now. None of those other guys are around anymore.
Just Brady, yeah.
We're complete strangers.
Been able to fill in all the pieces as we've gone throughout member changes and stuff, and now we're at the coolest instance, and we're just making awesome music all the time, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Brady casts a pretty big shadow, but we're all able to pull together and...
Kyle, you would bring up my body image.
Sorry, bud. Had to get the dirty shots in early, you know?
I was going to say, you're filling out those pants, but I didn't know how you'd take it, but I mean it positively.
Just in the crotchal region. Yeah. Really baggy everywhere else.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I guess how did this iteration of the band all come together?
We're in a band.
I told people we're in a boy band.
Me and Kiefer had known each other through like mutual friends and stuff for quite some time, and we'd always talked about jamming at like house parties. We'd get together and just be like, decently hammered and be like, yeah, we should just jam sometime. It'd be so cool. And never really happened. Like drunk plans often
starting
happen.
an Italian restaurant, or
We also thought about starting an Italian restaurant.
That one didn't work out as well. So.
Yeah.
what was the name?
It's probably like Dr. Sketty's.
Sounds about right.
Dr. Sketty's Meat Factory.
Oh, yeah.
That's
so you're filling out those pants.
Eventually, the bassist we had previous to Kiefer just like disappeared for a while, and so couldn't get a read on him or a hold of him or anything. So we're like, hey man, like let's jam. Do you want to join Our Last Crusade? And so that's how we brought Kiefer into the mix. Mm-hmm. With Kyle, he had briefly dated my sister a long time ago, and we had kind of stayed in touch and jammed a few times, and we're buds. So at one point in time, we were working on an album. We wanted it to be huge, so we had talked before about maybe Kyle joining us, but at the time it wasn't right. Like there was just like, in terms of getting gear, because we played the 8-string guitars and stuff, it was a weird fit at the time. And then 6 months or a year down the road, whenever it happened, it was like everything lined up perfectly. Mm-hmm. Kyle and the vocalist from his previous band joined Our Last Crusade for a time, and some of us headed down to Florida and recorded a sweet album. And Kyle's been rocking with us ever since.
Yeah, and I guess that was like 6 years ago now. Time just flies.
Yeah.
That was the ideal and the actual that you guys recorded, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
So I could also describe how we met Adrian, but if anyone else wants to turn, feel free.
I responded to a Facebook status. It's super interesting. It's not as bad as Craigslist, but current drummer Steven, he put up a Facebook post saying, do I know anybody that can scream and sing? And I was like, hey, I can't sing. And then I came in. And I tried out a couple of times.
Drove out to Langdon and auditioned in the farm.
Yeah, God damn, don't ask me what I thought as soon as I got
It's like, where am I?
Oh,
Just a big acreage in the middle of nowhere.
But the more I'm hearing about how other people got in, you guys had it way easier. Why the fuck did I audition?
I pretty much had the red carpet, I guess.
Dude, Scott, the previous singer we had, got even worse than a Facebook message. He got a Kijiji. Open ad, and so he brought like buddies to his first jam because he's like, I'm not sure, I don't know what I need these people. I'm not safe.
Man, that would have been smart, wouldn't it?
You know what? We've all had similar intros to the industry, that's for sure.
Awesome. So I guess for those who don't know, kind of describe, I guess, what kind of music Our Last Crusade does make.
Avant-garde jazz.
Absolutely.
Like
in a very dark sense.
like dark alternative rock.
Yeah. No,
do a few breakdowns.
yeah, I don't know.
It's just a healthy mix of
There's-
groove and slam and deathcore and even
black
elements of
and deathcore a
thrash,
little
like
bit,
just
yeah.
kind of whatever we feel like
It's
writing.
bouncy.
It just kind of gets out there and
Honestly, there's just too
make
many
it work.
categories.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of fun. Just, I honestly, over the years, have just told people 8-string metal. Just whatever that
Yeah.
means, just 8-string metal.
Our
Awesome.
Last Crusade is Our Last Crusade. That's it.
Nice.
I gotta pause real quick. The doorbell rang.
So,
This ad is brought to you by
SeatGeek. Big circles show you good deals.
use our code at squarespace.com.
And now on this episode of What is Chester Thinking Right Now? I was wondering, is that
Chester
snacks
says-
at the door or just another annoying person coming to talk to my...
I mean, nobody can see this, right? So, for all intents and purposes, Chester is a cat.
Yes.
But he's more than just a cat.
He is a friend in my heart.
And a family member.
And a family member.
I've only met him
Ooh,
for
Josh is
about
here.
a couple minutes now.
Hey, dude.
And
Okay, cool. So we just had a additional member join us. So why don't you just quickly introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Joshua. I've been playing with the guys for over a year, kind of on and off. But I've had a couple shows under my belt at this point. Started getting into the writing process too. It's been a lot of fun.
Josh is a guy that we've known for a few years now. Brady and I have known through the Edmonton music scene, and it just, we've just meshed with him really well and brought him on. And it's awesome having three guitar players in the band. You know, definitely
Yep.
takes the stress off me. And,
Ton of fun.
Nice and
Yeah.
thick sound for sure.
He also works along McQuaid, so we're just using him for free gear.
Discount City over here.
Man, it's like an intro to Suicide Squad. It's just never-ending intros.
Steve's gonna show up like right at the end.
When he shows up, we all have to go through again in order.
One more time.
Actually, guys, I'm totally good. Yeah.
So I guess what is it about like kind of heavier music and metal music in particular that attracts all of you towards it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, like, it was just a natural progression playing an instrument, and you know, you kind of start with the classic rock, and you move on from there, and eventually, all of a sudden, you're like, man, I'm playing some pretty crazy stuff, and just whatever interests you.
I was playing Need for Speed, I think Most Wanted, and I think, what was it, Backcountry or something was on that album, on that soundtrack, and it was Almost Easy or something like that, and I tried to find the album in Walmart, and I hated metal at this point, I accidentally bought Waking the Fallen, and I completely fucking hated it, and then slowly it wore me down, and I actually started getting into metal, and then, now I'm here, but, like, honestly, it's just good to just get, like, so much anger and aggression and, like, pent-up stuff out, you know, it's a good vehicle for, expressing yourself and just releasing all that energy, and you just kind of feel cathartic by the end of it.
I agree with that. Like, physically, I feel like, you know, when you're listening to all those, like, classic rock tunes in your car and you're, like, bobbing your head along to it, like, getting into the heavier side of music, and metal is, like, an extension of that almost. Like, when you're on stage, like, you're headbanging, you're into it, like, your body moves with the music. Like, I think there's definitely, like, a physical aspect to that kind of genre.
Definitely like classical metal or classical rock just amplified.
Oh,
Yeah.
With more distortion.
It's when they discovered electricity, it became metal.
Pretty much.
It's just a mess of noise. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's also where it started for me, is just listening to like Black Sabbath and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Being like,
Yeah.
oh shit, dude, these guys are sick.
Yeah.
Man.
And then just going from there into finding weirder and crazier stuff.
Yeah.
I vividly remember when I thought Megadeth, like Symphony of Destruction, was like
Was
the
like the
heaviest thing I'd
heaviest
ever
thing.
heard. It took me so long to break that threshold.
When I was in like my first band, it was like kind of punky. We were trying to cover Papa Roach, Last Resort, and we got to that one part where he screams. I'm like, this is so insane. I could never do this. And so we didn't cover the song because I couldn't scream, and that's all I do, and it's all I listen to.
That's great.
And I thought that and Rise Against was like the epitome of screaming. You know, that was it.
Yeah. No, Rise Against for me too, and also Billy Talent. I really
Oh, yeah.
liked it
Oh,
when
for
they
sure.
screamed, and
Big
I was
time,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is fucking cool!"
It's so
Like,
edgy,
yeah, exactly. It's so heavy, and then you hear like actual metal, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Back when I was like 10, I bought the Linkin Park Hybrid Theory album because I really liked the In the End It Doesn't Even Matter song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like just listening to it like my parents told me I couldn't listen to it because the lyrics were they said they were like too rude and too angry and stuff, but like I just listened to it anyways.
That's who I am, Mom. I'm rude and angry.
Like all my favorite
Tried
parts
so
and all
hard.
of the songs were like the screaming parts, but I didn't really put that together for like years. Where like, wow, all these parts where he like yells like that sounds so cool and so good to my ear, and then it wasn't until kind of like what Kyle was saying for me, where you're learning the instrument and you're pushing your boundaries. And I was getting like the Guitar World magazine every month, and it's got the Bet You Can't Play This licks with all these metal guys, and just seeing how they're all shredding compared to what like Angus or Kiss was doing at the time. And so, I was listening to more and more stuff, pushing further, getting to more technical crazy stuff, and then eventually just one day clicked, oh yeah, all that screaming that I loved that Linkin Park was doing, like there's bands that are just doing that all the time. And
So how much pushing did it take to get to zeros and ones?
oh man, you got to go to the max and then break through the max.
Before you come back to the zeros and ones.
Beyond the limit, there's just ones and O's.
You reach Flesh God Apocalypse and it's Mirror.
They're both the limit.
I think we both went through like almost like a neoclassical phase, and it just hits a point of there's no way I'm ever going to be able to play like these guys. So zeros and ones it is.
Yeah, for sure. It's like something entirely different though than any of that stuff that we were listening to. Like the rhythmic patterns of like bands like Meshuggah and all these guys that like
They're
to
so
displace music in weird ways. Like I think that's part of like what gets all of us too. And there's something challenging about being able to do that stuff, even if it's not like complex chord patterns and stuff like that. Like just the sheer rhythmic aspect of it is like pretty awesome too.
It's difficult. You have to pay attention to it. It keeps you guessing. You don't know what's going to happen next. It's not intro verse chorus kind of radio format. It's just you want to hear what's happening next, and I think that I really dig that.
Metal is the non-missionary.
It's like the 86. No one even knows what it is.
It's the Kama Sutra of music.
I definitely agree. Like I've said it a bunch of times, but I think that like metal musicians are probably some of the most like talented at their instruments. Like because it's so fast and it's so technical in ways that almost like classical music. So.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's its own techniques, and people nowadays, like the bands that we listen to, they're all kind of pushing that still, which is awesome.
Everyone's still trying to evolve and go further.
Yeah, I'm so glad I picked vocal, so I don't have to know.
To carry cabs and stuff.
And the awesome thing about metal too is you kind of touched on it, but it does have that like groove to it as well.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
And that's probably one of my favorite parts about metal in general is like it can be doing something insane, but it can always fall back on that like really sweet,
Just
like
a
It's got
sweet
that
dance
Pantera
over it.
underneath.
Yeah.
So. I know you guys have been releasing some new music lately, so I guess take us through that a little bit.
Yeah.
We have the Naivety Scene.
Yeah, we have a new EP
New
that
EP.
we're going to be releasing. We're just finishing tracking the last track on that one.
Yeah.
So it'll be called the Naivety Scene. No release date yet because we've kind of
Pretty
just
casual.
after releasing our last album, the second one, Ill Will, it took about 2 years to actually finally get to it from when we wrote the songs to record and everything, and it was a time sink. It was a money sink. It turned out like great, but by the time it released, we just didn't love it as much anymore because we'd listened to the tracks 150 times to make sure they were right.
And then
So
practicing them.
with this one,
Yeah.
we've decided, like it wasn't even going to be EP, we're just going to release single songs, but then I kind of had a theme for the lyrics, so I was like, let's just put these ones together. But yeah, we're just really taking our time this time, recording them as soon as we write the song, as soon as we're happy with it, get it in there, and then get it out, and let's see how people respond to it. So I think we've been a lot better without the pressure of having to release a full album this time, and the songs have definitely reflected that because they have a lot more TLC. Like Kyle's been just killing it at Apex Audio. He's recorded us, mixed, mastered everything, and couldn't be happier with these songs, even more so than our last album, which was mastered by Will Putney. So it's no small order to top that.
For sure, it's been a nice natural progression between the album and just kind of continuing on forward, not even necessarily with a goal in mind of EPs or other albums, but just writing songs together and demoing them out, getting them out there and seeing what happens.
Oh, and they're fucking heavy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
They're heavier than like anything we've written.
Think the album format's in such a bad place where you take, 10 months, however long, write a whole bunch of songs, like work your butt off, really refine them, record them, master them, do a video or all that extra promotional stuff, and then like release the album. And with like just kind of how music's consumed nowadays, 80% of the albums never listened to. It just kind of exists in space. So when we can release as much music but way more consistently and like in a way that's way more fun, where we put out a song, we're really hyped on it still, we haven't been listening back to the masters for 8 months, then it's way more fun to be putting out a song every month or two, or just always have a new song that we're banging out in drums rather than just rehearsing I don't know, I said drums to jams, but okay.
Honestly, good. I really like the example set by was it Protest the Hero when they had their Pacific Myth. It was just like a subscription, right? And every like other month they released a new track. And it was way cooler, and it kept you interested more so. But to be hypocritical about the music video, we did shoot a music video for one of these tracks.
Yes,
so that's what's been holding this up a little bit as well.
And that was a ton of fun, yeah.
It was insane amount of fun, and the guy we did it with, Jarrett, at In-House Studios, it was just amazing because we got to be it was just a whole band and him, and we really had nobody else. It was just we were the tech, we were the sound crew, we were the lighting crew. We like set up the actual set,
and like the special
we were the actors, special effects, and yeah, I couldn't be more stoked for like it to come out because it's super Evil Dead, black and white. All old school little horror effects, and it should it should be interesting.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I spent about 6 hours ironing a green screen.
Oh, yeah.
Only for it to get like rumpled up.
Yeah, only for it to
get cut
ripped open and have Adrian emerge through it.
We literally cut a hole after you ironed it for 6 straight hours.
Like, we were really hands-on, let me tell you.
Yeah, speaking of hands-on, we were covered in this black goo that was just so sticky, and it dried on you the second it went on. And it got, the worst part about being in a metal band is that we're usually pretty hairy. It's in your armpits or in your little treasure trail sticks. Man, you squat, your ass crack's getting ripped open.
I don't know about you guys, but I had like bruises under my arms. Like it hurt. Yeah, anyways, cleanup sucked for that, but
I
I'm so
just put a
excited.
shirt on afterwards, and then I couldn't get the shirt off afterwards. So I had to shower with the shirt on to get it off of me.
I screamed for a living, and I never made a noise like that. Like, you would move your arms and he's
We were all kind of standing like dudes who just left the gym where our arms really wide, so that nothing stuck.
It looked like it was like our first day learning to walk.
There was a couple moments where you had to crawl across the ground towards the camera and all this, and you'd be using your entire body strength, but after a while you stick to the ground, and the crew, like everyone around you, is like, "Yo, keep going." And you're like, "I literally can't."
By the time like the fifth and sixth of us were going across, the floor was so sticky. It was just like cement or quicksand. Like
I think we used 3 bottles of baby oil to try it out.
I think so.
It did not help at all.
He's like, make it look like you're struggling to crawl. I'm like, hey, I'm struggling to crawl.
If anything, the baby oil like re-moistened the slime and just made it stickier.
For sure.
Oh man,
Made for some great shots though.
Yeah, that'll be a cool video when it's done.
It sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It was an experience for sure. It was real cool.
Jared's a really great guy, so we're just letting him do his magic, giving him all the time he needs to really get this thing done right, because him and his partner are the only people editing that shot, this kind of thing. So
they actually just got nominated earlier today for a bunch of like film awards and stuff for some of the other stuff they've been working on, so they're really killing it.
Excellent.
Shout out Jared.
Really excited for them.
Cool. I think, just based on what you guys said about, the whole releasing an album versus releasing singles thing, it's like, it almost seems like it's the way to go, releasing singles now, because like you said, you put all this work into an album, it can take up to 10 months, and like maybe you get like a week to a month of hype on it.
Interest.
And then people just kind of forget about it, just because we're just so bombarded with like everything else and stuff. But like
everyone's trained to the cycle too.
Yeah.
They know, like, okay, cool, so now that's done, I'm gonna wait another 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years I'm gonna
consume it,
hit
really
on
quickly.
Wikipedia again.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so guilty of going onto like Apple Music and checking out like a new album, and you see the ones that are like starred as singles, and those are the first ones I click every time, right? So definitely feels good to be able to just like do a couple EPs and some short releases. And this band has done all sorts of different kinds of recording, whether it's like in a bigger studio with a more famous producer, or demoing stuff at home or having the luxury of Kyle work on the tracks. Like, we've done everything, and I think this feels really good, being able to just release stuff that we're happy about.
Yeah.
Also
on
doing
our
it
own
as
schedule.
Yeah, and doing it ourselves, we get to do whatever we want. We get to experiment with whatever sounds we want to do. It just so happens that they just get darker and darker.
Yeah.
But
Kyle thankfully is very patient with us.
It's every recording session ultimately ends up on like you waiting for someone, like for mixing or mastering or extra edits or synths or whatever gets outsourced out. So being able to just have control over it and just like get it done when we need to get done, and not just be like hopelessly waiting into the void is like awesome. Our one of our previous full length releases that we recorded in Florida, it took like 2 hours. Or why can't I talk now, guys?
the pressure of the microphone.
I'm dying. It took 2 years between the time we left the studio to the time we got the finished tracks back. They just like,
Oh man, yeah.
we didn't work on it, or we're just,
You weren't a priority.
They weren't a priority. They
It's a
were
bad
working
feeling.
with. We picked them out because they're like a great name to associate with and like a great quality product. But they always say like you can choose like fast, cheap, or good, and like you only ever get two. And so we had like the good and the reasonable priced, and it wasn't fast.
Well, man,
And that even our last album that we all did ourselves, it took an extra year or so to get out because we were trying to get some lyric videos together to release as singles. And like
those never happened.
we like hired a guy we'd worked with before. We paid him. He's like, yeah, we'll have it for you this date. We're like, great. Like 4 months later, he's off the grid. We can't get a hold of him. We can't find him anywhere. We're trying super hard to message him and everything. Eventually, we're just like, okay, we're going to raise like the PayPal dispute, get our money back, go elsewhere. But that takes like 90 days. So we're just waiting. And then we're like, okay, that really sucked. Like, screw this guy. And then he comes back. And he's like, I'm sorry, I'll still do your video. And, we're over it at that point. So we hired another guy and the same thing happened. So
I ended up just making them myself.
So I think from like April until like October or something last year, we're just like, oh yeah, these lyric videos are gonna be sweet. We're gonna release some singles. The album's gonna be out, and eventually, just like we did some DIY stuff, got it done, and put the album out. But it's just
At that point, we lost the love for it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And like now that we've taken some time, I go back and listen to the tracks on like Spotify, and then I very much like am falling back in love with them because they're just a little fresh. I haven't heard them in a while, But just at that point, it was after like almost 2 years, I was so just done with it. We just wanted to get it out of the way so we could move on.
you almost don't hear the track. You hear like all the frustrations and little things like maybe there was like a guitar riff that changed, or like a timing that changed, or a drum fill you didn't want, and like right after you get that album released, like you don't hear the songs, you just hear like all the stories and work in the songs, and you're like, oh, this part could have been cool, or I'm not happy with my playing here or whatever. And then now that's been like about a year since we put it out, listen back to it at the gym or whatever, and it's pretty cool. I think we did a good job.
I describe it as that. Let's not say like it wasn't, but like when we were actually recording it, we had a blast doing that. And it was up at Kyle's place in Lethbridge. He had a studio up there then.
It'd be like nice little weekend trips. I'd get my homies from Calgary to come down with me and record, and we just made like a big weekend of it. We'd go to Telegraph for the breakfast.
And two guys in a pizza place. Honestly,
Two guys in a
the most
pizza place,
disheartening part about you not living there is I have no reason to go back to
I
Lethbridge.
know.
How the fuck am I going to get two guys in a pizza place?
Okay, if anybody's listening and they're from Lethbridge, like they just know two guys in a pizza place.
No,
is the
fuck
best.
that. No, if anybody's listening, you're from Lethbridge, bring us two guys in a pizza place.
Please. Donair pizza, please.
Donair pizza, taco in a bag, and the mammoth, if you don't mind.
So, since you have changed it up a little bit with the releasing, have you seen a difference in like crowd support for it, or audience kind of reaction, I guess?
That was an interesting thing. Like, I had a couple of people talk to me at our last show, and like I'm not usually the most social person, but like I had people coming up and saying, like it's cool, like we're hearing new songs, or not a bad song was played that night, or you're talking to friends that you hyped up to come to the show, and you're like, realizing that they're digging the new songs, and that's awesome.
When we
a good
first
feeling.
played Scapegoat live, that thing tore that place up.
Did so well.
Yeah.
It's a good song for just kicking it off.
Oh yeah, our new single, Scapegoat. That's the one that's out. Go check it out.
It just came out recently.
It's a banger.
Certified. We have samples at the beginning of it too, so like every deathcore band.
Yeah.
It's gotta be one of my favorite intros that we
yeah.
have. Like, it's just hilarious.
It was we found like this one video of like a pastor talking about how he like
Beat some kid up.
beat some kid and
I
like
put the fear of God in it.
his like one line before we start getting into the song is like, I led the man to the Lord.
Yeah, he's
right
like,
there. And then we get into the song.
I punched that kid in the chest as hard as I could.
I crumpled the kid.
I just crumpled him.
And I leaned
Lord.
over him and I said, yeah. Oh, man.
I found out later that pastor was from Calgary.
Oh God, no!
Is
he actually?
in that bit? I didn't know if that was Calgary.
Yeah.
Man, we've had problems with like who we associate with in our songs before, because the Hell song we put just a throwaway line. We were talking in the studio and like, man, I really love Kevin Spacey. Man, was that bad? That was before.
We have chose anyone
Literally a few
worse.
months later.
Yeah.
It was just the one celebrity we randomly named, then boom, child.
The thing was, we specifically, I just remember Kyle saying, yeah, just say, like, I'm a huge Kevin Spacey fan. I can't name any movie season, but, like, I said it.
Throwing me right under the bus here.
It'll advise for sure.
You're just in the recording chair, just, like, pulling your strings, like, say this, do this.
Brady tries to say something else and Kyle says, do it again.
He just gives me the look. He doesn't even have to say, do it again, I know.
It was a great take, but we're gonna do that again.
Yeah. I think we've all been a victim of that. So, yeah.
Your abuse.
It's character development.
Yeah,
He's just
builds
becoming
character.
a stronger man.
Yeah.
These guys they need to be better. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh God, I
They're
need to
good.
be accountable for that. That's so good.
This is a podcast, not an intervention.
Make me do the take again, as long as it takes many times.
I mean, if worst comes to worst, I'll just unplug you live again.
That was a great story. Yeah.
It was completely by accident. I tend to jump around a lot on stage, and it was his first show with us. And I just happened to bounce right on his chord, and all of a sudden the guitar is gone, and I see him fiddling around. I'm like, what the hell's this asshole doing, getting another chord in the middle of our set?
Like, God damn
And
it.
then, it's my fault.
It was a tight little stage for 6 dudes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I guess is there any issues when it comes to having so many members in your band?
That's the only caveat.
Egos.
I think is the egos. Yeah.
Not the
And just
space.
like actual stage space.
Yeah, for the most part.
That's why I like to run my little monopoly with audio productions. So it's my world. They can't say anything. They can't do anything. I'm perfect.
On one hand, it's harder to get everyone together for chilling or recording or doing stuff, but on the other hand, like, if not everyone makes it to a practice, like, you still have a pretty full sound. It's not like the whole session's entirely wasted, so
Yeah.
It's
On
sweet.
stage, though, we do, but, like...
me and Adrian just collide.
We
every
tend to
song.
jump around the most, and I get smacked in the head with the guitar head a little bit.
And we're a band that like moves around too. For 6 people to be moving around on stage, I mean, I think we all got some war wounds from headstocks and the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, even though when it's not you guys, I got like a bad cut on my hand because I smashed my hand into one of the lights at our last show. That thing's high up. I don't know how I got there. I didn't even realize it. It was just like so much adrenaline. Then all of a sudden, I'm bleeding.
we had one show, it's like a few years ago, but we were playing at like Vern's or somewhere, and just like was stomping my foot along, just trying to like put on the performance, and like during the set, I'm just thinking, man, like, I'm in so much pain right now. What's going on? And like at the end of the set, I took off my shoe, and there was like a nail through my shoe. Like I like stepped on a nail. And, like,
Oh my God.
but we're just in that heat of the moment when you're just trying to like just let loose and like go a little wild on stage. Like you just kind of push it to the side, and you're just worried about like hitting the next note, hitting the next transition, like, and so that's my anecdote about a war wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably should have got a shot for that.
So basically what we're saying is promoters get us the bigger shows.
Make sure you don't love your stage.
I mean, I feel like, what kind of metal show is it if you don't come away with at least one cut or something? You know?
Yeah, for
Some
sure.
guy broke his foot 2 shows ago in our pits. That was fun. He messaged us on Instagram. I was like, cool, don't sue us. That's great, man.
I feel like that's like almost an accolade that you can add to your band.
Someone broke a...
And the accolades is when I break someone's foot.
If we had like a band resume, we'd have a section just for injuries.
Yeah, exactly.
We also blew a breaker at one of our early shows, so we've also heard venues. onto that injury list.
Venues have heard us, okay? Like, it's fair.
It's a give and receive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw you guys at the Blind Beggar the one time.
Yes.
That's the one where I'm
Yeah,
plugged
that was good.
That was a good show too. That was a ton of fun.
That was really fun, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, even then I was like, that's a lot of people on a little.
That stage is
tight.
even smaller than the one I think we played last.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's funny, every time you try to get off stage, because you have like the wireless guitar and stuff, you try to get into the crowd to make some room, the crowd just disperses around you.
I know. My God,
It's like a whale shark in a school of fish, you know?
Yeah, not quite the interaction I'm looking for, but that's okay.
I think it's just a big drum riser or something there. Like the stage seems big and it looks big and it's like presented nice, but then you get up there and you're like, oh, weird.
Yeah.
It added to just the chaos of that. That was super fun for me.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of a clown car.
It looks
Clown
huge.
So I guess what's it like to have people like mosh to your music?
Oh man,
I feel
the
really
last
great. I love
show
it.
we were at was just phenomenal, just to see how people responded, and especially when it's a new song or something you've been working on, and they just react so violently but positively, like to the breakdowns or like some fast riff you got in there. And our last show we got a wall of death going during one of the songs.
That was great.
And the most rewarding part for it is like we usually sell merch after we play. Like people like see us play and they're like, oh cool, like we'll buy some merch because like they like the set. But last time we had these new designs and we had, I don't know, maybe $300 before we even got on stage that we sold. Like people just came by, and once we got on stage, it was this sea of these Sonic the Meth Head t-shirts that we printed, and it was just a sea of people wearing them like everywhere, and it was just it was amazing to see, you know.
And one thing that made them stand out even more is that our new merch is like, because a lot of bands have like just black t-shirts, our new merch is the red t-shirts and the white t-shirts, and like they stand out very heavily compared to the black.
Yeah.
And the designs, my buddy Lumpy Touch is his name. He's amazing and does a lot of
He goes by Ben sometimes too.
and he did the merch designs for us, and like a lot of people just bought it straight off of how it looks.
Yeah, it's amazing how
just
many
looks
people
cool.
like a Meth Head Sonic.
Yeah, which happens to be just very topical with that new Sonic movie coming out.
I was just trying to make a pun about speed, but no, it went.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's like whenever I go to a concert, I specifically look for something that isn't black, just because I have so
Me
many
too,
black
me
items.
too.
Yeah,
There's so
it's
many
entire
options.
wardrobe.
Yeah, so it's like if there's something that's not black, I'm like automatically more inclined to buy it because just for that reason.
Well, we figured we also need to sell to China, and they banned the importing of black clothing, so.
I feel like that when people mosh to metal music as a band, it's almost like, when...
It's like the highest reward, almost like highest praise. Like
Yeah.
And the
It's
highest
like-
you can feel.
as like for writing the instruments and like writing the riffs and like seeing like a physical response to it, it's just like it's great.
Yeah, because when you record the song and someone listens to it, you don't really see it, right? It's internal, like the way they emotionally react. But when you see it live, and it's just, it forces itself outwards, like externally, it's amazing.
Yeah, people start doing like circle pits and stuff to
Oh, yeah.
music.
The,
everything
the
and
best
all that.
feeling.
Yeah.
It's the best
Oh my
feeling.
God, I feel real great about that.
Yeah, and like the thing is when somebody tells you they like your music, you
Yeah.
can be like, that person could be full of shit, who knows?
Yeah.
But if they're
that's fair.
moshing to your music, then that's just like,
Yeah,
you
man.
can't hide that,
It's
like...
so genuine, yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's almost like when, just with like normal music, people singing along, I guess,
Totally.
in a way. But
Yeah, totally. And like thinking back on that too, like there's some videos out on Facebook that you can watch from our last show, and near the end of that song that we were playing, there were so many people going at it, and this one guy just like ate complete shit, but like it's like in the best like mosh pit kind of way ever, where like someone picked him up after, and, but like the guy who made him eat shit was just like so into it, and that it was just like fuck yeah.
I don't know whose side we're on here, the guy who ate shit or the guy who pushed him.
I'm on the side of the guy who committed assault.
I appreciate that for us, honestly.
That's an interesting position in 2019.
I will stand my ground on that. But yeah, no, it was great.
I'm not taking a stance on this, but I do need like a fucking waiver.
Yeah, I guess it is 2019. Make people sign waivers, but
And you know what? Adrian is the culprit half the time.
Oh, fuck
he's
you.
saying all the time. He's getting people way too ramped up. You know, it's all his fault.
I mean, last time the venue asked me like not to get people too riled up, so I told them to fuck it up respectfully.
Yeah.
And
I caught myself before
Everybody tidy up this venue as aggressively as possible.
Adrian's known also to jump into the crowd during the songs as well.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
get everyone's even more amped up.
Yeah,
And then we can
I get
all
possessed in
stretch.
there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a little bit more room up there.
It's purely altruistic. I'm doing this for you guys.
Quintessential frontman for sure.
Until I'm off the stage, like I definitely don't have that same persona. But as soon as that mic gets in my hand, even when I'm there, I'm just like, hey, everybody, okay, let's mic check, let's get in here. Let's everyone move on up. All right, cool. And then as soon as like the first like drum note is, I'm like, hey, everyone get the fuck up here. If you're standing down, what the fuck? Yeah.
It's perfect. Yeah.
yeah, and like it's one of the neat things about metal music. I think is like on the outside, it looks like it's so aggressive. And like it is in a way, but it's like the most friendly, aggressive that you're ever gonna encounter.
Yeah,
I
fair
think.
enough.
Yeah, it's like a little fight club. Like you walk into it knowing that like you could get a fist to the face,
Yeah.
but like everyone's kind of on the same terms with that equally being possible for everyone.
But
So
also being like very respectful.
More
You're saying,
likely
yeah,
than
dude,
not,
who he got knocked
everyone's
down.
there to have a good time. No, like, it's not often people like go looking to hurt someone.
yeah.
And just like Fight Club, I'm also schizophrenic and no one's actually in the room.
Did we even play that show?
Oh god.
No, but it's really fun, yeah, and yeah, the crowd definitely gets that. I mean, they're people that we've known for a long time that go to a ton of other music in Calgary that's, you know, heavy and stuff, and yeah, it's just par for the course. Everyone kind of gets it.
The one thing I've noticed that we do kind of a little bit differently, a lot of bands really focus on getting their sound perfect live, like exactly attuned to their like studio recording or whatever, and we fuck up a lot. Like we have a lot of mistakes live,
Yeah.
but it's just like when you get that energy in there and you like actually move a little more and get people involved, nobody notices and they just don't care.
Yeah.
They just want that anger, that energy, that just to
I
just
think
exert
people
themselves.
are paying to see a performance. They're not paying to see a bunch of guys with like their guitars touching their neck, just like noodling
Standing
away.
still.
It's you know, you can just watch YouTube or stay at home, listen to Spotify if you just want to hear the songs, right? If you want to pay and come out and see the band, you want to actually like see the band and be part of like some more entertainment.
More like energy. Like we sometimes for our shows we'll try to choreograph our moves to the song so we know what we're going to do at certain points.
Except for you forget.
And yeah, until we forget, but you know, the thought is there.
Yeah, we tried.
And then like when we're actually in the moment playing it, like I think everyone kind of is more ready to be moving around and doing that sort of stuff. So even if things don't line up, like everyone's engaged in it. And yeah, what Brady was saying too, like you go to see a performance, right? Like we might not be like virtuoso musicians or anything like that, but you know, we make the music that we like and we put like our physicality into it too, which is awesome.
I'm
It's a lot of
glad you
fun.
guys went along with that excuse. I was really shooting for the cigars there.
It's like seeing the crowd get excited and everything, and that you can't help to get excited along with them if they start getting into the music.
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
it's like then at that point it's like a feedback loop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like they're gonna get more excited the more excited you are, and then
Yeah.
Well, and if you're just stressed out about, oh god, this guitar part's coming up, or oh god, you know, it's like they're gonna notice. And if you're just up there like thrashing around, you're like not making any intelligible notes, but you're thrashing around, people don't care.
It's also just kind of like making it a bit more fun for you if you improvise to some degree live. Like, you know, you've already played all the parts a zillion times, writing them, recording them, practicing them, rehearsing them, and maybe sometimes you're just feeling a little different lick or something, and you just want to, you know, put a little treat in there for yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Well, I think that's like totally the thing too. Is people are coming to be entertained, to see a show. They're not just coming to like hear the music performed perfectly. Like
That's good because we can't.
I never promise more than 80% accurate.
You're generous.
It's more like 75.
And I just want to get to that point where we're like famous enough that people know our lyrics, so I can just like cheat by just putting them like mic into
There we
the
go.
crowd every time I can't do a line.
The Bring Me the Horizon style, where he only,
Yeah,
he only
exactly.
says the first 3 words of every line, then he just holds his mic out.
God,
the crowd
that's
see everything else.
success right there.
That's when you made it. When people are paying to come do your job.
So do you guys ever have any issues like letting go of a song and being like, this song is now like finished?
I don't.
I mean, like, I can kind of speak to that for being a new addition, being in the writing process now. Like, for me, my writing prior to being in the band was so insular. Like, I would just write stuff how I wanted it to be, and it would always turn out how exactly I wanted it
Insular,
to be.
that's a great word.
Like, as soon as I gave up my ideas, it was, like, kind of scary, but you realize that, like, everyone else that I'm writing music with is, like, so talented, right? They get their spin on it, and it's, like, a way better song for it at the end of it, right?
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I don't. I mean, as musicians and as artists, you always like kind of. There's always something wrong with what you did, and no matter how many times you do it, after a while, you're just like, fuck it, move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
If you found something that you didn't like on that one, fix it on the next one. Like, correct that mistake.
Yeah.
And if you listen to these tracks enough, like you'll always find like something that you didn't exactly do as you
Yeah,
wanted.
I think every musician will go back, or any artist will go back and like look at any of their works and like think, hey, I could have done it better here, or like
Yeah.
this part sucks, you know, the pick attack's not right, or like the color's off if you're painting or something. Like you're never completely satisfied, and that's I think why you keep writing more music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
All
harder
that is
part-
why the new routine is so great to me, is because you know you could re-release songs or fret over songs for a year and a half, but at the end of the day, if we just work on trying to get
Move
songs
forward.
out there, then you know the more great music we can put out there.
The harder part is really just cutting songs that aren't there yet, but you can kind of see the potential, and you had a really cool part that you know you were going to kill, and it was like it was going to sound heavy,
Yeah.
but the whole song doesn't end up working, so you have to like drop it. That's the harder part, I think. Like
I think
just
so, too.
not
Yeah.
doing a song.
Okay. So I guess how do you guys get people to care, just in general, like about your music?
Oh, they don't.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Well, honestly, it even comes down to like the performance side of things. Like it sometimes almost feels like people don't care until they see us on stage and see that kind of personable side to us. You know, that we're just guys that just want to thrash around and have a good time, and then they start to
After every
recognize our name.
show, you get like an influx of interest. Like after every show, there's just about a week or two of hype again, with people like commenting or people like buying our album. Like after the last show, a couple album sales went through, and people listening to our tracks. And then again, it just kind of dies off. So I feel like you just need to be there live to like actually associate with people, and then they start responding a little better. Because online, there's just so much stuff fighting for your attention,
Yeah,
right?
you got to form a personal connection. There's
Yeah.
so much music out there. There's so much media out there. There's so much everything. But if the music's passable and you remember that, like, oh, the guy
Passable.
who I don't know, we talked after the show, he was super
Generous.
cool, or like if you have to find a way for people to like hear more than just the music, or with anything, if you want like your product to get noticed, when it's so easy to make anything and put it out there, you have to go a little bit further. You have to like associate with people, interact with people, put on a great show, like hang out with people. We used to we haven't done it for a while, but we'd have like draws on our Facebook pages, just give out shirts, give out stickers, just try and like, you know, people around Calgary, try and connect with them more. And so they're not just coming to see Our Last Crusade and hear those 5 songs we'd be playing that night, or see the set. They're coming to, you know, see the guys who we've talked to before, and like that's kind of what it is. You have to try and make a personal connection with people.
Sometimes you got to make sacrifices, like doing podcasts in the basement.
We met a very nice cat here tonight.
Fair. I get that a lot.
It also helps to, it sounds weird, but use people. Use your friends, man. Like, talk to them, and if they're into it, they start spreading the word themselves. Like, I got a buddy who just loves our shit, and he has a couple connections down in the States, and he has a couple group chats. He just loves to get into shit online and to fight with people, so he has a bunch of group chats where he just dukes it out with people. But he starts like sending our music to people he knows in those chats, and like now we got listeners in the States that are sending messages. I got a couple that was somebody today was listening to Pray for Decay. They're saying how much they were feeling it right now, and then like at our show, he went above and beyond. It was hilarious. After we played the set, he kept messaging these guys back and forth, and like he didn't tell them that he knew But I was, and he's like, dude, we gotta take a picture together, like when you're all sweating all this, and we took a picture, and he's like, guys, I just met the vocalist for Our Last Crusade. They're like, you lucky son of a bitch. And I was like, yes. Nice. So good friends help, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think it goes down to, or boils down to just making those connections, you know, like being personable, like it's easy to just be another faceless thing on the internet that's producing stuff, you know. There's so much of that, you know, just stuff is constantly being produced on the internet, being like, hey, look at this. So I think because of that, it's more of the personal side of things. Are you guys ever like kind of I guess cognizant about how many shows you are playing? Do you not try to play too much, or?
I think right now it's kind of like we want to see all the offers we can, and I think we're in a position where we could pick and choose if we had to, but we're probably not going to do a lot of that. Like, we like playing, right?
Yeah.
So
There's a book, I think it's called the Indie Band Bible, and it's just kind of a music industry guide, tips and tricks kind of thing, and we all read through that in the past.
Yeah.
And he's a singer, he doesn't do any work. And
I do the writing, not the reading.
No, we used to go really, really hard. We play a show every week, and it's diminishing returns. Like, if someone saw you last week, they're not going to come this week. So
you gotta make the shows count.
We try and make it count. If we're just playing in Calgary, we can't do it every week or every month. We got to kind of space it out and make it, make sure it's far enough apart that the people who came to the last one are willing to come to the next one, and same time, just try and do something different every time so they're not seeing the same show.
Yeah. So we played a lot of the venues in Calgary now, and like for me personally, I'd like to see, I don't know, maybe Palace Theaters, something with a little bit more mass appeal, or playing outside of the city, just because it's tiring after a while just playing the same bars, and you've seen it, you know what it's like, the bars, like your fans know exactly what to expect coming to that same bar. And like we played a show at Border Crossing in June. And then we had another offer at the same venue, and like usually we wouldn't want to play the same venue again, but it was with Black Tongue, so we took it because it was a huge band. That was a huge influence on a lot of our own sound.
I love Black Tongue.
So like we couldn't pass that up, and like so that made the show more interesting. We got to play with a big band that we like grew up listening to, and that also meant like more fans could come and see us plus Black Tongue, because they obviously a lot more people like Black Tongue as well. So then they're not just coming for us, so it gives them more of a reason. So. I think the moral of the story is just make the shows count. So just pick the ones that are going to mean a little something more, rather than just doing it like a day job.
Yeah, playing lots of shows is good because you learn something from every show, and you get a little bit tighter playing together too. But we also kind of look at it as like a opportunity where we like to play the shows that mean something to us. If it's, our last couple of shows have been with like Victims and Black Tongue and Galactic Pegasus, and we've been playing with bands that we're excited to like see live and play with and interact with. So we could be playing every single week, but it's like to
who at that point.
To whom, and like the opportunity cost's pretty high, where if we're playing a show every week, we're rehearsing 3 or 4 nights a week, and I'd rather be writing more music and like practicing technique rather than rehearsing the songs, and like just getting all together better.
Well, it makes it a bit of a special event, especially because like the time when we were playing every weekend or every other weekend, I think we were also playing like the same set for over a year or something like that, whereas with the routine that we have now,
we change the set every time.
Exactly, we change the set every time. We're always writing new songs, so we always have something fresh to add into our set that nobody's ever heard, or something that we just want to even flesh out in a live setting and just see what's going on.
Honestly, personally, my favorite part of where we've gotten now is that before we didn't have a choice but to play the old songs, because we didn't have any new stuff, and I was always like playing somebody else's vocals, like I was doing a song that wasn't my own, and now our entire set list is predominantly our new tracks that like I helped write, and it just feels more rewarding playing your own stuff. You just have a better connection to it,
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like a lot of like when you are just starting out as a band, you do want to like you play as much as possible, you get your name out there and stuff, like, but as you grow as a band and as you like kind of figure out like what your direction is and stuff, you can start picking and choosing those shows, and you make them count exactly what you just said. Yeah, and
then similarly, like we wouldn't turn anything down unless there was like a reason for it. It's got to be a good reason.
But we've definitely been very blessed too. Like we've had the chance to open for the Within Ruins Sexes in July tour. We opened for Animals as Leaders after the burial. We did Black Tongue.
Yeah.
Bermuda, last 10 seconds of
That's
life.
right, yeah. Like, so we've just been very fortunate too over our tenure to get those opportunities. It's awesome.
Would have opened for False Fire if they didn't get their van broken into in
Unfortunately,
Edmonton.
yeah.
Oh,
We all know that story, that's for sure.
Well, it's cool that you can now you are sharing the stage with bands that you do want to see as well. So
Yeah.
that's really
Free tickets, baby.
Yeah. That's it. Believe me, that's why I do a podcast, because I'm media now. So.
Get me in.
Yeah. What is the metal scene like in Calgary from your guys' perspectives?
Honestly, it's a little bit better now, but for the last couple of years, it's been dwindling a little bit. I thought, at least personally, I didn't see as many.
Yeah, we're losing
Venues are gone.
Yeah.
The promoters, it's gotten down to like 1 or 2 left in the city that handle everything, right? So not much variety there. And then, yeah, a lot of the bands just seem to be ones kind of our age that have just stuck it through, and you're not seeing as much new talent come out. I think like one of the biggest hits was the new Black closing, God, a long time ago now. But then there was like shows every weekend there with different bands,
Like
and so
every day.
many new talents, and so many people just wanted to start stuff because they had a location and they could start young. You know, because it was under 18, you could go in there, right? So
that was the height of it for sure.
yeah. And then since then it's just really quieted down.
It's kind of trickling off a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also, I personally feel like it's hard to get a read on the Calgary metal scene, where there's like, the last couple shows we've played, maybe like the last 5 or 6, there's always been like some other local acts, and I feel like, oh, I've never like really seen them before, heard of them, and then they're like awesome live, and you just never hear or see from them again.
Kind of wonder.
I think that's kind of like definitely part of my own fault, where, you know, I have other hobbies and like playing hockey or whatever, so I don't get out to shows as often as it would be cool to do. But also, like, I think it's a function of like people doing their promotion primarily through Facebook, and if you haven't clicked the right places or aren't part of the right groups or aren't in the algorithm the right way, you're just
that can view the
page. You miss so much cool stuff happening just because, you know, you're not in the right place at the right time or whatever.
Because like I feel like I do go to a lot of shows, but at the same time, I don't feel like I go to a lot of just local shows.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of shows, like, if Black Tongue was playing, I was going to go see them anyways.
Right.
So, like, or if, like, just, I go to see, like, a lot of the touring bands who come through.
Yeah.
So
I've noticed that a lot
as
too.
well.
Like, people will definitely go to the bigger shows in town, and like when you're in that audience, you're seeing, like, you know, there's like
so many
400 or
people.
500 people, easy, right?
Like when we seen Architects play
Yeah.
at Palace Theatre, they had the full, like, because they have that lowered part in Palace Theatre, that full area was like one huge pit, and like that place was packed.
It was Tokyo Square in there.
Yeah. So like,
Oh, it's nuts,
Like
yeah.
there's so many people that are into the music. But
Yeah, it's
So-
like, do we have like a problem getting people out to local shows? Like,
Not really
you know,
ourselves, but
yeah, I wouldn't say so for ourselves.
There's definitely a mass in the city that we're not reaching. We've been around for a while, and it's just like
you start seeing the same people
Yeah.
after a while.
Yeah.
For sure.
how it's perplexing. Like,
It's mind-boggling.
how do we get these guys to notice us?
So that's why, again, I said, like, if there's like offers or potential opportunities with bigger bands like Black Tongue and stuff like that, where we know we're going to be playing maybe a bigger venue or to a bigger audience, that's kind of what we want to go for now. We're kind of over just doing this just for doing its sake, where we want to progress a little more and like reach more people.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's a good cycle for us too, because then we have time to write.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And it is kind of interesting just seeing, like, you know, bands that, like, back in the day when I was in high school and stuff, they would be playing, you know, Mac Hall or something like that. Even the Ballroom, which is a pretty big venue, or even the BMO Center.
Totally.
They're now playing at, like, the Palace Theatre, which is, like,
right.
just a fraction of the capacity. It's like In Flames is a good, like, they're playing at the Palace Theatre, and like back in
Periphery
Some
played
41
Palace
is
Theatre.
playing at Palace Theatre.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they
Wow.
play Palace Theatre on the 26th.
Oh wow.
Yeah, same with like Black Tongue last month. Like, these guys are on like a intercontinental tour.
Yeah, they come from Europe.
and
Played at
they're playing at,
bar
like, this
in
is like where they're
Northeast.
playing in Calgary. Like,
A small forest lawn.
they're
bar.
just playing like a neighborhood pub. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's. I know there was like a bylaw change with sound restrictions or something that came in, the last 10 years or something that, and with that, it seemed to be a lot of the venues, or there used to be a lot of community center shows and stuff. I remember earlier on.
Music Center, that was really
and
cool.
Yeah, Music Center, and just like random community halls people would book out and put on shows and stuff. And between the sound bylaws, and I think I also heard from like a promoter that like the insurance costs were just getting insanely high too. That it seems like it's tough here to find like a nice venue.
Yeah, it's like your location can't service being a venue past a certain hour, and then also the price of holding that venue is increasing. So you're not making as much money because you're not doing the thing that you need to be doing at night, and you're just sitting on this space, right?
Yeah. That's what happened to like Distortion and stuff too, right?
Distortion went out, Distillery went out. What was the place we were going to play?
Those are all like the same place.
Those are run by all the same people.
Yeah.
But there was that one bar we were gonna do.
County Line.
Yeah, they like
except they just
all of their
pulled the rug
shows.
out. Yeah, there was no reason provided.
I think they just decided they didn't want to do metal shows as opposed
after
to
booking
any
20 of them and just pulling the rug out under. That was
no real warning, no nothing, just kind of.
The week before the show, I was like, "Congratulations, you're not playing here anymore."
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But didn't even make a post about it. They would just cancel all the events.
Yeah, they can't. They made themselves admins. They made themselves admins on the Facebook pages. They requested admin access only so that they could cancel the events on there, but not tell anyone.
Yeah,
that's brutal. Like they should have just like honored the shows. And
stopped
doing it later.
Just
at least
going
just
forward, you don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Simple. But
anyways, well, and I remember back in high school and stuff, and like going to metal shows and like hardcore shows, and like one was at it was like the rec room of an old folks home.
Crazy,
I was like, I'm pretty sure my grandparents just live across the street.
We've played shows at museums and Airdrie.
I've been to that.
That's right. Yeah, those are some of our most rowdy shows.
That's
awesome.
Please be mindful of the exhibits.
When me and Josh first met was like at a show in like a hotel conference center.
Yeah, that was kind of wild. Yeah, it was just like this completely.
That's how the best stories start out.
Yeah, just no stage, just set your stuff up in the corner. Yeah, like I don't know. It doesn't seem like that's really an opportunity anymore. Yeah, because I mean, we probably wouldn't want to play a hotel conference room center, but
I mean, it'd be.
Speak for yourself.
I think that'd be probably.
I'm still thinking about the old folks.
The old folks would be down,
and that's where we get some injuries and some cred.
See a whole bunch of old people running around.
It was just funny. It was like there was a hardcore show going on, and then there was like shuffleboard in the corner, like shuffleboard. It's like, this is wild.
Leave the walkers outside of the pit.
Meredith. They just turned their hearing aids off. They like didn't even know.
Yeah. And I find like when I was in high school, like going to see bands, the bands I'd go see were also just playing DJs and stuff as well. So there'd be like a weird mix of people. So there'd be like people just playing like a cool set for electronic music, and then a metal band would come on afterwards.
Man, what was that one show we had at Distortion though? That was really fun. It was a pop punk band that opened up the show, and then it was us, just like super heavy deathcore.
Yeah.
And then it was like a jazz infused mathcore band with like a fucking saxophone.
Oh, that was Red
Litmus.
Red Litmus. That's
the show. Yeah.
Dude, that was You're just looking at me smiling. Oh shit! Yeah, I'm piecing it together. No, that show was so much fun. It was such a weird mix of like styles, you know, categories thrown in.
We played a lot of shows like that where there was like a southern rock band and a pop punk band and like a more traditional like hardcore band and like some metal bands and just like a little bit of something for everyone.
And see, those are the shows where you see a physical reaction, but it's not positive. When we come on stage.
Whoa, hey.
Do a mic check and half the room just fucking clears.
They're like a gaming store called Metal Galaxy, and next month they're having like a metal meetup night just so people in metal bands and in the metal community can go chill, and like looking forward to that because like I was saying earlier, I know there's a big metal community in the city, but like I don't know who's around or who's going to shows, or we usually draw like pretty similar crowds to our shows with the same people who come see us many times, and there's a lot of other people that we're not seeing or not playing for, so I think going out, meeting some other bands, because I don't even know like what bands are in the city. You play with them sometimes, and then they kind of just disappear.
People
So
reform bands, make new bands, but
for
it's
anyone,
your same old friends that you've known for a long time.
So for anyone listening, I don't know if it's like an open invite or anything, but come on down to Metal Galaxy. And if it's not, just storm the place. Tell them all C sent you and make a name for us.
Yeah, I think it's like December 8th or something. And
when is it?
December 6th.
December 6th.
December 6th.
Yeah,
So yeah, come on down, chat with us. We're pretty personable on the air. Don't know about IRL, but
We're going to be playing some very competitive backgammon.
Yeah.
Gloves off.
I think
You can also dip your toes in the water because we won't be actually playing any music, so you can just meet us first before you get scared.
It's a risk-free entertainment.
It's a safe space.
Metal Galaxy, safe space.
I think there's also it's kind of like a metal brewing company in Calgary. I think it's new.
Oh, like
New
a
Level
beer?
Brewing.
New
New
Level?
Level.
Yeah, they've been sponsoring a lot of local music,
Shows.
actually. Like, even,
Yeah.
in the Container Field downtown, like, I went and saw a show there this summer, a bunch of, like, indie rock bands, and they were sponsoring that. Like, that's awesome. I've been seeing them at, like, so many other shows. Like, that's a good amount of support for, like, a business to be backing that kind of music.
It's really cool to see just kind of like people like with unique
Taking an
skills
interest.
and stuff and taking interest in the music and then being like, hey, I like music but I also brew beer, so let's combine the two or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like
Let's have fun. Let's
Yeah.
get this done, yeah.
Metal's definitely super interesting for that kind of thing because
It does make you
metal
drink
being
a
what
lot.
it is, a lot of people do other stuff outside of metal. There's not a lot of people making their living playing metal, so you meet doctors and teachers and like firefighters and just all kinds of cool people who are just like mutually interested in metal.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I find with a lot of people who listen to metal too, that they have a lot of interest, but they also tend towards like nerdier interests. You know what I mean?
That's not
Like-
true about us at all. We only have 3 software developers in the group. That's only half.
They're actually less nerdy.
I'm actually a data analyst, thank you.
So do you guys have like a favorite venue that you've played in the city?
In the city.
Distortion was really good for what it was.
Distortion was
I
great,
think,
man, back in the
and
day.
it just had a nice.
Good separation, a good height to the stage. You actually could see the band properly, and it had a devoted area for moshing, which is just fucking great because then we don't have to move tables out of the way or make people move or get them to leave their drinks somewhere else, or else they're gonna lose everything. So
I think when we played the Republic, that was like the coolest show that we've ever played, like the most professional we've ever been treated, where we got a full sound check and we, it's a good stage, like it was a good club, and that was super sweet. I think the funnest place that I've ever played was actually I think it's called the Avenue Theater in Edmonton, where it was an old just actual old time theater, and so they just had a huge stage and.
Oh man,
that place would fill up.
Dash across that stage. It was huge.
It's like
So
the
much
stage
room
you
for
imagine
activities.
playing when you're like a little kid wanting to learn an instrument. You're like, yeah, I want to be a rock star and play at the Saddle Dome or whatever. Just a big ass stage in this old theater.
until you realize how
So
tiring it is to run that distance.
And it was cool too.
Yeah.
That show at the Republic, that was the Animals as Leaders after the Burial show too, and it was just so nice to be treated so well with those touring guys in mind, and just knowing that our sound was gonna be good, off the cuff as well. It was really rewarding.
I still
Playing with,
remember that
like
show
bands.
where I was. I wasn't part of the band yet, and I asked Brady, I'm like, do you think I should buy my tickets beforehand or just buy them at the door? He's like, yo, just buy them at the door, it'll be fine. And then I went to go
It's
buy
not
them at
fine.
the door, and it was sold out.
it was
So I couldn't get in. It was minus 30.
yeah, it was one of those really really cold days at in March. So it was it's really cold.
It's up to the bouncer. I know
They'll
one
probably
of
be
the
able to
bands.
get in.
Oh, which one of the touring is it? It's the locals. Get the fuck out.
And they said, no, dude.
I remember what's his face from Animals as Leaders, Javier or
Tosin,
whatever. Oh man, he was just like, how do you live here? It's so cold here.
For sure.
Yeah, we Canadians are hardy folks sometimes.
That's another tough thing about playing music and
In the
there's
winter, yeah.
6 months where it's just brutal.
It sucks to haul your damn gear in minus 30-degree, 40-degree weather
All
on a
one
slippery ass highway. With putting them in the back of a truck while it's snowing and worrying about water damage and shit. It's that makes it less enticing to try to go to a local bar to play 50 people.
Only
Try
the
to
most
have short
dedicated
commute
one
to that
to leave their nice houses and drive on like slippery ass roads to
I
whatever
always just
venue
lie
it
to
is,
people
and
just tell them that it's totally fine out before they ask. It's like, "Look, roads are clear, man."
Hopefully they don't look outside. So.
It's plus 15.
the
What are you
forecast
talking about?
says plus 20 for this show in January. Just
And
coming
they show
down.
them like, man, that blizzard came out of nowhere. But you made it in here now, right? You're stuck.
Yeah, we're not going back.
I mean, it's snowing outside. You can't.
Yeah, you can't leave in this weather.
Or snowed
I
in.
can't believe you drove here.
And it's also kind of makes it hard to like do any touring for a band. I feel in the wintertime. Like Canada's hard to tour in general because fucking huge.
So big.
It's goddamn big.
It's
Everything's
so
spread out.
yeah, it's so spread compared to the states, where if you're like a band in like California or like New York area or something, there's like a city every like 20 minutes away, and you can play for so many audiences. Whereas here it's like the 2-hour drive to the next to Lethbridge or Red Deer or something, and
Or if
then
you want to go to BC, it's like an 8-hour drive. But
Yeah.
when you hit a
Yeah,
city that's worth playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and then sometimes you have to do that in the winter, and that just sucks.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine that. Like hours a day.
It's also hard with 6 people now. Like it's hard to like plan your schedules around so that everyone's free at the same time. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine just logistically, like 6 people is kind of hard to fit into a van with all your gear. So
Yeah.
we're always like take 4 cars to the show approach, where we have like a truck with like cabs and stuff, and then someone's coming from work and someone's coming from school, and
It's like the Our Last convoy.
I also
Yeah.
use it so that I don't have to go back and like load the gear back into the house. It's like, oh shit, I gotta head, man.
It's
I
like,
got shit right
my
there. I got
car
my car.
already gotta go.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
come
sorry
down
about
with crippling pneumonia.
And my gear itself, I just use the little pedal, like a DI pedal most of the time, so I just can pack up my backpack and be like, yeah, I'm already packed up. See you guys later.
got like
Great
a
show though, guys.
Yeah,
Well,
great show, good work out there.
got like an old timey like tin Batman lunchbox, and you open it up and pull out your pedal, and you're like, nice.
Plug it in.
he gets bullied before he gets on stage, and they see him get on stage, open it up, they're like, oh shit.
Oh, shit.
That
Should've missed
lunchbox.
that guy.
Oh, fuck up.
So what's your guys' favorite part about playing in this band in particular?
Is there
So-
one?
We're just comfortable. No?
Yeah, for me, honestly, they're serious. Like in all my other like bands, I've been like 4 or 5 now, and a lot of them are unheard of because they never went anywhere. And no, you can never find the time to like practice. Nobody actually devoted themselves. Everyone talked about recording, but nobody actually like went down to get the tracks. For shows, nobody was really like that well practiced, so it just became frustrating playing those and knowing that these people didn't see a future with it. So with Our Last Crusade, as far as saying, I've been super impressed because everyone's just super toned into their specific talent, their instrument, what their role is in the band, and then like we're able to rock music out so quickly. And having Kyle is just the biggest plus.
Oh God,
Um,
for sure.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
No, it's just for your recording capabilities, but
Only that.
yeah,
Only that.
but it's
all looks, no looks.
it's really nice to have our someone at the studio, and because then we have our ideas, we put them down, and then boom, let's go in there, record this, get this to people. You don't have to wait, you don't have to amass the ridiculous amounts of money to record, you know. Yeah. And I feel like it started off a little disjointed, but like our sounds are just everyone's gotten on the same page, like with what our new members like and what the old members like want the sound to go, like the direction they want the sound to go in. And like with this last EP, we've really come into like a very unified sound. The songs are fairly different, but they sound unified. They sound like Our Last Crusade. This is it.
For
now.
sure.
This is what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
You know, this is what we're progressing with forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I love
some,
that.
some nice evolution going on, and for like a majority of the things, like if you in writing music and stuff like that, most of the time I'm like, well, this would be a cool thing to do, and they're like, yeah, just do it.
Yeah.
Like, alright, sweet. So just a little bit of freedom to kind of do whatever you want, and
I can only really, just echo that. Like, it's just so nice to be at a point now where we're all generally on the same page, not only with, our schedules or what we want to accomplish or anything like that, but even just like how cohesive we are with all of our DIY talents, and we're just able to come together and keep building off each other, and it's just awesome to see it all come together.
Yeah, and like we don't rely on the band for keeping us afloat, like
Yeah.
throughout our months. You know, like
It's 'cause
we
we
all
can't.
have jobs.
Yeah, that is part of it.
Yeah, so yeah, it's great being able to do everything DIY. You just jump into it when you can, and it turns out generally how we want it to now, which is great.
Brady?
Yeah. I think when we were getting started, we were all in like university at the time, and we were, you know, treat this band super serious, and then it's going to become that way. You know, we all had, when you're sitting in lecture hall for like 8 hours a day, you're just thinking of making music and playing and stuff. So we were super serious about it, and we practiced like super regimented, like 3 times a week, on every night, all the time. We were working on stuff. We were like reading books about, and like just trying to learn as much as we could about being a successful band and stuff. And I think that you know, if we had like an option to go party or do something else, we were choosing the practice, because we were just really dedicated to the band. And I think that's helped us like form a nice footing and a nice kind of routine to get things done. And that's really a great foundation for we're definitely not as like structured and serious about what we're doing now. It's more of a hobby type thing. But that's also awesome too. It's not like super high pressure of, if we don't get this recording out soon, then we won't be able to have like our spring break show or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're, even though we do take it all very seriously and we all make sure we're up on our parts and contributing and stuff, I think we just have a lot of fun together, which is like the lamest thing that anyone in a band says, but like we just, you know, they're
Guys,
like,
bands just want to have fun.
yeah, like we're all similar dudes. Like 3 of us work in software. We like the same music.
I wasn't
We
kidding
like
about that.
we like the same like TV shows and movies, and like we just, if we're hanging out and we're like shooting the shit, we're always laughing and like having a great time with whatever we're doing.
Yeah, and it's nice because you have a lot of freedom with the topics we cover. Like we had, so far they've been very dark, but like if I want to write a song about whatever the hell, like it doesn't really matter. A couple of songs have been just absolute jokes that we got into there. One was a Breaking Bad song. I'm starting work on one about Heat Vision and Jack, the best gem that ever existed. If nobody knows what it is, search it up on YouTube. Jack Black's best role. Owen Wilson is a talking motorcycle.
Yeah.
Jack Black knows literally everything in the world while the sun is up. It's just amazing. So we're gonna be working on like. I'm gonna try to work that into a topic in the song and just still make it heavy, but like you have a lot of freedom with this band, man. You can just do whatever you want. It's super great.
Awesome. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds like it's just a really fun experience in general, and that's the whole thing with it, is like, if it's not fun, then why would you be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that comes across live too. You know, like
Kyle
you
hasn't
can
come to
pick
my
it
head.
out. Yeah, you see a band and you can tell they're like, you know,
Little stiff.
unpracticed, or all these things, right? You can just tell when you see a band like that.
Yeah.
And I think, I hope at least it comes across that we're just like having fun. That's what it is.
Yeah, okay, we've been talking shit about a lot of bands, so here's some good juju. MT Visionaries was dope with us last show.
Yep.
Victims was super tight. Who else we played with?
all those
Gutter
bands.
King
Gutter.
was dope.
Gutter
Always
King,
a big
yeah.
fan of the guys from After the Prophet. I gotta give a
Yeah,
shout
those
out
guys
to
are
those
amazing,
guys.
so
Yeah.
just thought I'd throw some like good vibes out there, so we're not the douchebags we sound like.
Yeah, might as well walk away with a few positives from this.
So I know you mentioned a video and stuff, so how important is it for you guys to incorporate other kind of forms of art, I guess, into your music? Whether it be videos or like artwork, album artwork and stuff like that. How much attention do you pay to that?
Yeah, I love the artwork portion of it because it just really, it's your entry point sometimes when you don't hear the music, and it should evoke an emotion in you. And what it like represents, usually if it's a little more abstract, you can apply your own meaning to it, right? And then you kind of go in with prepared for what the album's going to be. You kind of have a thought of what direction it's going, what kind of atmosphere it's going to have. And then I also personally really love the lyric videos just because I just find it easier to follow along with a lot of bands, and it engages me more when I know exactly what they're saying and I can follow with the song. Yeah, and then the music video thing, that's just guilty pleasure that we got to do with Jared. Like, he gave us the opportunity, and
Just really lucky.
Yeah.
yeah, that one I was just stoked to be a part of. So
I really like coming up with t-shirt designs, even though 95% of them we never make because there's like the printing cost and the artist cost of having someone draw it out, but like I could just sit with the guys and we could just like brainstorm like things that would be awesome or hilarious on a t-shirt, and like
We've talked about our own
we have like
designs
we
for
have,
2 years.
yeah, we have like we have a spreadsheet on our like shared Dropbox where we like
Just have
communicate,
t-shirt designs.
and we have
Ideas.
like dozens of designs on there of just like silly things we thought of that'd be so great on a shirt or great in a windbreaker or like
Emperor
perfect on a
Palpatine
hoodie
shooting
or
Our Last Crusade out of the lightning in his
Yeah.
fingers, you know.
I always really liked the idea of the Snorlax at a buffet. The food spells out Our Last Crusade.
Yeah, that's awesome. These are coming
One day.
to a retailer near you.
Awesome. Are there any just kind of final things you guys want to throw out there before we close this out?
I'll plug a couple of things, maybe, if that's all right. Or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
obviously, we're just we're the majority of the band here, but definitely a big shout out to our drummer Steve. Like, he's just an incredible drummer, super passionate dude. If you're a drummer in the city and just want to talk drums or anything drumming world,
He's all
he's the guy
about
to
that.
talk to. Yeah, he's.
But if you need a
He'll
drummer, go
tiger you
fuck
up.
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. He's ours.
ours.
He is ours.
He's
Goddamn.
definitely
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah, as these guys mentioned, I have my Apex Audio gig here in town, recording, mixing, mastering. If you guys want to sound as huge as Our Last Crusade, you know where to go now. ApexAudio.ca.
Yeah, you rehearsed
plug.
that for the radio, eh?
You know what? Maybe I should have rehearsed something. Yeah. But yeah, no, guys, Apex Audio. If you need anything, I'm here for you.
Yeah, and on that note, like Kyle's mixing and mastering tunes for the band, like pretty much right now. Adrian was doing some vocal stuff lately, and yeah, just look out for new music.
That
Got that
new
video
video
coming
coming
too.
Music video soon. The Naivety Scene EP. Keep an eye out for that. We'll be sharing the artwork with that soon. We're just finishing up the last track on it, so as soon as that's done, we'll have a pretty quick window for when we release. So we're excited to get these songs out while we're still super stoked on them.
if you're interested and you want to hear more from us, like you see this all the time on YouTube or whatever, but like make a point, click the follow on Facebook or like on whatever social media you're using. Like we see the stats, and like if we make a post, it's like 1% of the audience gets reached. So if you're listening to this and you are interested in what we're saying and you want to hear more from us and you're interested in checking out that EP when it comes out, like please actively follow on YouTube or something so that we can make sure you're hearing it.
And even if you're not interested in us, just
Give us
make
a
your
promotion.
parents less proud. Hit that like.
Yeah, and we're still like small enough that we reach out to people too on that
Yeah.
on social. So
Well, and don't be afraid to reach out to us. We're just a bunch of guys here in town, and we love chatting about all things music, and we'd love to hear from you.
And thank you to all the people that have come out to our shows.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
have supported us through the years.
Yeah, like we said, when we're up there and we see those reactions of the crowd, man, like there's
That's
no
what
better
we want.
feeling in the world than like that's just all of you guys who came out there. So
Yeah.
huge shout out, thank you.
Yeah, awesome. I'll have all the links for all your social media stuff in the episode notes, so it's really easy for anybody listening to find it. Just go into the episode notes and click on the blue icons. That'll be all over the
Thank you
place.
for having us, man.
Yes,
thank you.
It's been
Yeah.
super fun.
Nice, yeah.
No, of course. Yeah, thanks for taking the time to talk to me.
thanks for having us.
If you liked this episode of the podcast, why not leave a review? You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. For up-to-date information on the podcast, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us at FrogE Style Productions. That's Frog, the letter E, Style Productions. For more ways to support the show, visit fsproductions.ca.